It's very kind. I'm just aware that there's quite a lot of new people to the Growth Hub in the attendee list today. So thought it'd be good to kind of go through what the Growth Hub do, just to share a bit of information with you, which you may be interested in engaging with us in the future. So I'm just going to go through a short presentation before handing over to Andy for his LinkedIn tips and expertise. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so I'll just go on to the next slide. Okay, so the Great Birmingham Solihull Local Enterprise Partnership Growth Hub, which is a bit of a mouthful, was established in October 2015 as the central point of contact, kind of like a one-stop shop for SMEs in the region looking to access support and funding. The Growth Hub itself is fully funded by the taxpayer, so you'll never be charged for any of the services that we offer to you. Also, we try to avoid recommending any service provider that will charge you for their services. We've got a passionate and experienced teams here to help. We've got a business advisor team who act as an initial point of contact for most of our clients, taking you through, sorry, just move that, an initial diagnostic and recommended solutions to your immediate needs. We've also got a fairly new account management team, which includes sector specialists who are experts in their fields and available to slightly larger SMEs, circa sort of 5 employees, 100k turnover, who have kind of longer term relationships with businesses supporting growth and overall prosperity. But we've also got a skills hub team who are specialised in taking business leaders through training needs analysis and recommending solutions to suit business needs, which are often funded. So on this slide here, you'll see some of the areas in which businesses engage with us to ask for help. So kind of the bullet points through there, which I won't read to you. But since it's October 2019, we've supported over 1,300 businesses through over 10,000 individual interventions with the clients that we've worked with so far. We've done 2,600 business support referrals to our partners, and 572 business diagnostics have been completed with our clients. We support businesses to access funded programs, grants and other schemes, as well as running a series of workshops like this one, and growth of led programs such as the Digital Benchmarking Program and peer networks. This has enabled us to have a hugely beneficial impact for our clients that we work with. And during the last year, this has been independently estimated, another mouthful, to provide our clients with a net profit increase of £25.6 million and create or safeguard 7,854 jobs. Just a slide here to show you some of the partners that we work with, some of the big universities, Department for International Trade, FSB, and local authorities, but we work with many more as well. So as I mentioned previously, we do run our own programs here at the Growth Hub, and we are now recruiting for our second phase of Peer Networks program, which is a national peer-to-peer networking program for SME leaders that want to grow and develop their organisation for future success. So I'll tell you how it works. We basically create diverse cohort groups to collaboratively work together through common business issues. Through interactive action learning, we enable you to discuss your challenges, gain and reflect on valuable feedback and implement practical solutions to overcome them. This could be within finance, HR, sales, marketing and many more different areas of business. Our expert facilitators give you the flexibility to create a trusted support network that works for you, helping you to build and strengthen your business and improve its overall performance. In order to be eligible, you need to have operated for at least a year, have 5 employees, and at least a turnover of £100,000. There's more information on our website, but you'll see the link on there, and that will be shared with you once the slides are sent out. There's also the very newly launched Help to Go programme. This is a 12-week programme of learning for SME leaders or members of the leadership team, designed to improve management skills, strategic skills, and generally promote business growth. It's delivered by leading business schools across the country. In our area, that's Birmingham City University and Aston University, and it started in June, and there are 30,000 places available across the UK. To be eligible for this one, again, you need to have at least 5 employees. It can be from any sector and at least 12 months minimum trading. And then there's also just the Help to Grow Digital program, which is being launched in autumn, which will offer free advice on adopting and accelerating digital technologies in businesses via an online platform. But there's also a voucher that will be made available worth up to £5,000, where you'll get 50% discount on the purchase of approved software. At the moment, we don't have a list of kind of the approved packages that are available, but I think more information will be shared as and when it becomes available. So we'll let you know. Just keep an eye on our website for that one. So yeah, there's a quick run through of what we do here, but here are our contact details for you to reach out, have a chat with us if you need any kind of help kind of accessing business support or grants, funding or anything like that. Just get in touch with us. We can talk about what's happening in your business and figure out what's best for you. Yeah, thank you for your time listening to me, and I'll hand over to Andy for our LinkedIn Expert event now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andy. And I want to say, welcome to everyone who's taken the time to register for this and participate. And I'll explain why I think that's important. And thank you to Andy and the team for inviting me to come and speak, because I've spoken and worked with the team before on their own LinkedIn activity. And we ran a webinar like this a few months ago. And I am just passionate about helping businesses get more, succeed more. And I think it's even more relevant, prevalent, and important right now with everything that's been going on. I'm going to jump in because of the timing. I've got a lot I want to give you. I'm going to run through a presentation. I will be here afterwards for as long as you guys have got questions and answers, because I've booked the time out. I'm trusting you can't hear any background noise because I've got something installed on my laptop to take it away, but I have a new toddler. I'm actually here in Spain at the moment. COVID and lockdown forced us to revisit our business, and it's all online, but also revisit our personal goals. And we took residency here before Christmas. So that's why the background might look a little bit unusual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys now. And I trust, Andy, you jump in if things are not working.
I will, yes, no problem.
If I can just, if it will highlight the share button, there you go, and I'll play it from the start. I've got Spanish Wi-Fi, so I trust you can see my slide now, Andy. How to raise your profile and gain more business on LinkedIn without being pushy or salesy.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
This is being recorded. If the Wi-Fi freezes or anything happens, I run a lot of Zoom webinars every month, and it's normally good. But I'm going to give you my contact details, and I'm happy because of what Andy and Birmingham Solely or Leopard are doing to engage with any of you if there's any way I can help. Because I do a few of these, but they're with selected, what I call, if you like, strategic partners. So I'm going to jump straight in. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and the two of us, Andy, will feed them to me. We can chat through them at the end. I'm hoping I'm going to cover a lot of things that will give you something to go away and do. I used to get asked a lot on, will you come and speak on how to create a LinkedIn profile? What are the things we can do to engage with people? And not just since COVID, but over the last probably 18 months plus, people are saying, how can I raise my awareness, my credibility? I'm posting, how can I post? What about my content? And it's not just about LinkedIn, but I want to cover how your post can massively help you to grow your network and gain new clients. You might well have heard of the saying that your network equals your net worth. And I do believe in that. And also how you can guarantee thousands of views of your posts. And I'm going to talk a bit about LinkedIn, how it's changed a lot in the last few months. LinkedIn constantly changes, and some of the things you can do to work with that, and the 5 steps to writing powerful posts. And to give you a bit of background, someone said in the chat, I want to know what you're giving first, and I appreciate that, because there's a link. Let me sort of take you through briefly where LinkedIn has come from, but also where I've come from, I guess. LinkedIn was created, my understanding, and there's a lot of stuff out there in the internet. Let me get this out of the way first, and that's something like 97.25% of all statistics are made up on the spot. I'm not a statistician, but I want to give you sort of generalized principles. My understanding is LinkedIn was created in 2003, and it was, I think, 5 guys who just said, let's build this platform and invite our personal network onto it, and now let's expand it from there. But it's morphed in 18 years from what it was set up to do and what it can do now. And unfortunately, there's still some legacies of some of their terms and conditions, some of the principles, some of the things people out there are talking about that maybe not as sound right now. I did a Google search before Christmas because since COVID, and this is a real important point, by the way, and I'll talk to you about my background as a business coach. I don't care what you think about me, and people do think different things about me. I care about what you go away and do, because there's a lot of businesses that suffer, struggle, maybe because of the way they're running businesses, and especially now with things that have just come out of our control because of COVID. I care about what you go away and do. So to give you a bit of background, there's been a massive surge of usage since COVID, online generally. We know that, we're on Zoom right now. Huge global surge of usage on LinkedIn. The challenge with that now is people are being bombarded with connection invites and what people quote to me as crappy messages and posts and content. And that's why I titled this the way I do, because people are saying to me, how can I do this without being pushy and salesy, because I'm being bombarded by stuff. Pre-Christmas, there were about 29 million personal profiles on LinkedIn in the UK. And that's gone up to 31 million. It surprised me because I knew there was a surge of usage. I didn't expect this surge of new users as well. And it went globally from over 600 million users to 700 million users. And for me, that is staggering. Somebody messaged and said, I'm new to LinkedIn. Good, because there's still people that are not on LinkedIn. Pretty much everybody you ever want to get to is on LinkedIn. When we bought this house in Spain 3 years ago, I found a English-speaking Spanish lawyer, English-speaking Spanish mortgage broker within 24 hours by going to my LinkedIn network and asking for who I might be able to get in touch with. It is, in my world, the world's biggest online networking and marketing tool, and it is one of your biggest databases. And I do believe your database is the most valuable thing in your business, because so you should be building databases. You should have your own database, and that's something I'm sure that the LEP can talk to you about. LinkedIn is one of them. And again, looking at some stats right now, about 80% of business to business B2B leads come from LinkedIn versus 13% on Twitter, which surprised me. I'm not active on Twitter. I am active on Facebook, but nowhere near as congruently and as systemized as I am with LinkedIn. And only 7% of B2B leads. Omnicore did a survey, and what came out of it was LinkedIn is the #1 channel that business to business marketers, which is pretty much, I guess, a lot of you guys on the call today, it's the #1 channel they use to distribute content, 94%, which just shows you the power of it. Now I have clients that pretty much all their business and leads and marketing is coming through LinkedIn. But I'm going to run through this quickly because I'm very conscious of time. But as I say, it's been recorded. I do believe, I didn't say, going back on that slide, I also set my business up in 2003, the same year LinkedIn was created. Pure coincidence. I was a business coach. I bought into a global business coaching franchise. I spent 7 years plus coaching business owners on how to grow businesses. And in 2010, I morphed into utilizing LinkedIn for myself and then my clients. And then it just became my main business is consulting, coaching, speaking, training with business owners on how to use LinkedIn. And that's why I say, as a business coach, I don't care what you think about me. I care about what you go away and do, because I do believe that for a lot of SME, small to medium enterprise businesses, which is, us all today on this call, often the biggest mistake I think people make is not learning how to market and sell themselves. I meet so many people that went into business to sell the service or the product they got, or to make and give the service and product they got, but not learning how to market and sell. And I think it's even more critical now than ever, because we need business, because there is so much more competition, because we can get to people so quickly, widely through social media and online and the internet. And there's a difference between marketing is about generating the conversation, the inquiry. Sales is selling that, is converting that. And so when I title this, how to get more business without being pushy and salesy, I get people saying, I don't want to be salesy. And I say, what's your definition of salesy? Because you've got to be, sales is a profession. But a lot of people have a challenge with it because there's so much poor sales people out there, like I guess in any industry. So this is about how to market and sell yourself. We had a couple of people that say, well, I'm looking how to recruit someone. Well, you've got to market your own business. I think they alluded to that. I'm looking for a job. You've got to market yourself or sell yourself. Well, I'm looking to sell and market my own products and services. So for me, there are two sides to LinkedIn, predominantly. The first one is your personal profile. We can touch on, and there might be some questions about company pages. I'll touch on that slightly, but your profile has to do three things. It's got to get found. And we've said it's a noisier world than ever. It's got to give value to the reader. And the biggest mistake is people talking about themselves rather than talking about what they can do for their client, or better still, what their client gets from them. And you've got to prove your credibility, and that's more relevant to some businesses than others, depending how long you're in business and what sort of business you're in. And this is the marketing side of LinkedIn. Now, I'm not going to go into lots of detail. I could speak. I can run a half-day workshop on just how to create your profile. But if you search my name on YouTube, at the beginning of COVID, I put a lot of videos up there on how to go through the different areas of your profile to write it from a professional marketing perspective so that it meets those three things. I aim them at property investors. I do a lot with property investors, but the principles are generic. I'm long gone in 18 years of business owners saying, what can you tell me about my growing my business of widgets? I don't need to know widgets. The process of growing business is the same. The process of using LinkedIn is the same. So go check those videos out. And I will put a link in at the end of this. I've got a Linktree link. I'll show you what that is, but it lists a whole bunch of links, of which there's some free ebooks. At the beginning of COVID, I wrote an ebook and put that up on Amazon on how to create posts and engage with people on LinkedIn. You can have that as a free download. I'll give you the link that takes you to that. And on my profile, there is also some documents there on how to write profiles and content. And by all means, connect with me. I do use some automation. That's a topic for some of you. You will get an automated response from me. But then the moment you message me, my commitment is I respond to every inbound message I get on LinkedIn and email. So there's a lot you need to do about creating your profile. And very quickly, my formula for success, and the accountants maybe and the technicians on the room may or may not like this, it stands for massive action times the right stuff. I hope you're all writing this down. Times consistently equals results. And think about it. You could go and send out 50 connection invites a day. That's massive action on LinkedIn. But if your connection and your welcome message and your engagement is terrible, massive action times 0 equals 0. But let's say you learn how to engage, you learn how to converse with people, and you send out 50 invites a day and a well engaging welcome message, but you do that for one day. Massive action times the right stuff times 0 equals 0. This is my formula for success, that you're not getting what you want from your LinkedIn strategy or your marketing or your business or your personal life. Which of these three areas do you need to work on? And this today is about some of the right stuff that you can be doing. And the other side to LinkedIn is your strategy. What is it you're going to do to find, connect and engage in the right way with your ideal contact? I use, because we've just had someone saying, I'm looking for employees, someone else saying, I'm looking for employers. A lot of people will be looking for prospective customers. So I use the word contact, and it is about in the right way. And this is the selling. This is selling the conversation you want with the prospect or the person. And my aim with LinkedIn is to get the conversation offline as quickly as possible. You're rarely going to sell anything on LinkedIn unless you've got online shops or something, because you're looking to get the conversation or the interview or the meeting or whatever it might be. And I put this screen capture up there. And again, there's a lot of this covered in my videos on YouTube that you can access for free. If you've not used the search function, where in that top bar I've put the words purchasing manager, go play with it. You can play around with it. You can't do any harm, and it's free. If you're relatively new, you do not need to be paying for premium. If you're looking at using LinkedIn consistently every day to generate leads or engagement, you really need to automate it. And then we need Sales Navigator. If that's where you're at, just contact me after today and we can look at exactly what you're looking to do. I did a search here for the word purchasing manager, and if you look, it pulled up 3.5 million results. But also what it beautifully tells you is this guy, Alvin Mingle, whoever he is second tier connection of mine. That means he's connected to some of my connections. He's actually connected to one, this guy, Thomas Power. Now, I know Thomas well. He's a client of mine. I could ring him and say, how well do you know Alvin? Well, here's his phone number. Go call him and ask him how his wife is. She's been ill. Find, connect, and engage. So the power to find anybody. I said I found mortgage brokers and lawyers in Spain within 24 hours. My middle nephew, in between university and doing a master's, he got what do you call it? He got work experience or placement in Hong Kong, and he found his employer there through LinkedIn. So this is so powerful. If you're not used to this search, you can find absolutely anybody you want to get to. But then it's about how you engage in the right way to get the conversation offline. And we'll touch on that. And again, on the YouTube videos, I've got sort of what I call my magic messages. Most people go and connect with someone, and then that's all they do. When someone accepts your connection, you want to message them and thank them. Now, here's the big change. I went to all of my clients in the middle of COVID and said, because everybody's getting bombarded, you cannot just send a message. And you can't send a message saying, hey, do you want a phone call about X? And here's my diary link. You've got to give them something. So you should be creating what I call assets. They should be posts or articles or white papers or PDFs or videos, and saying, hey, thanks for connecting. You know, here's a post I've written about how you can save money on your purchasing in the motor industry. Because then you're getting inbound. The moment you have inbound, you've got conversation. And this is the challenge. People get hung up on LinkedIn. I trained a sales team and I said, what do you want to know from this? And they said, oh, we're getting connections. We want to know what to say then. And I said, you are kidding me. You sales guys, what do you say if you pick up the phone or knock on the door? It's the same principle. We're looking to get the conversation, but you've got to remember your profile, you've got to give value. And I think we're in a world, I know we're in a world now where you've got to give value to the other person. You can't just pitch the conversation, pitch the link, pitch your website. Every day I get inbound messages of people saying, hey, thanks for connecting. Here's my website, or follow me here, or look at my Instagram channel. Why? I don't know you. You haven't given me any reason to. So when you connect with somebody, you want to send them a nice welcome message, give them something. It's about connecting and engaging in the right way. And now more than ever, we've got what I call a unprecedented content opportunity. Direct engagement, first of all, is what I've just talked about. You are connecting with someone, you're engaging directly. LinkedIn messaging is sort of like email. It's better because it's more personal. They've agreed to connect with you. Also, they're not deleting stuff off. They can see your conversation stream. That's the direct engagement, direct messaging through LinkedIn. But also you will all see in your feed, in your homepage, people posting. And we're in an unprecedented territory of so much content out there. And posts actually feed your direct engagement, because if your posts are good content, people will look at your profile. So one of the things you always need to be doing is connecting with people who have viewed your profile. Think about it. Some of them at some level will have viewed your profile for a reason. Change your connection message to read, I noticed you viewed my profile recently. I'm just wondering what interested you to do so and how I might be able to help. Because then the moment somebody comes inbound and says, well, yeah, I was looking for X, you've got conversation. So if your content is good, it's feeding that direct engagement as well. And again, recent Google was saying that there's 9 billion post impressions. Those are posts that someone's posted that show up in your feeds per week on LinkedIn. And there's a high level of readership because people are looking for content that they want, knowledge, information. And you've got a captive audience right now, literally, there's not many people necessarily in lockdown now, but you know, at the beginning of COVID, it was literal. I had a client who sold internationally. He said, I'm seeing my purchasing managers and directors on LinkedIn in their home office in New Zealand. I said, you will, because they're online. So we have an absolute captive audience right now. But the reality is most people are not engaging effectively. There is less than 1% of people posting on LinkedIn, and most don't have a clue. Most people's content is poor, and they also don't know how to utilize the strategy of posting. So that's 1%. And for some of you, the SME business owners here on the call, there's probably more than 1% of you that are posting because you're more active, you're more marketing focused than, say, the chief execs of big corporates. And we did a study, don't ask me how my tech team got hold of 30,000 premium users, people that had signed up to LinkedIn Premium or LinkedIn Navigator. And we saw that 20% of them, 6,000, were posting twice per week on LinkedIn and getting less than 10 engagements per post. And by the engagements, I mean less than 10 likes or comments on a post. It's abysmal. And I'll come on to how you can change that and work with that. It's about engaging in the right way. And so I'm going to give you some ways that you can think about engaging. And this is relative, as I've said, and I keep stressing, it's generic. It's across, doesn't matter whether you're looking for employees, employers, or prospects, or whether you're looking at your content on your website or in your email campaigns, your direct mail letters, your other social media. This is all sound and generic. Pre-social media, when I set my business up in 2003, there was no social media. So, because it was pre-social media, I just realized what I've said. And as from a marketing perspective, we would say to people, you've got to touch your audience. You've got to put stuff out there 7 to 14 times before someone might engage with you. You know, they've got to see your email, maybe your direct mail letter, maybe your phone call, maybe your billboard ad or your radio ad or whatever it is. Now with social media, add a 0 to that. Because we've got so many. I got invited to speak. Someone said, will you come and speak on my Instagram live? I said, I will. Show me how to do that on my phone. And they said, you need to be on TikTok. And I went, you can boil your head. I have no idea what it's about. There's too much to do. You've got to lay out your marketing strategy. I have email into webinars. I have a lot of speaking gigs like this. I have a lot of with LinkedIn. I've got a guy who's doing my YouTube ads. I've got a lot of marketing strategy. I need to get the right stuff better and better at that. I can't keep adding TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. And you've got to make a decision as to what strategy serves you best. And I do believe for most SME and certainly B2B business owners, LinkedIn is the best starting point. I have clients that just get all of their business from LinkedIn and are getting inbound leads and inquiries and engagement every week from their posting, because every time you post, it shows up in your feed and it's building your personal brand. And a thing to be mindful of is there's LinkedIn lurkers everywhere. People are consuming content. I had a guy ring me. I have a diary link and he booked a call and I looked through the communication stream. And when we spoke, I said, we're not connected on LinkedIn and you're not in my database. How come we're coming to speak? He said, I've seen your post for the last 3 months and now I need some help. And I said, but you've never engaged with those posts. You've never liked them. You've never commented on them. And he said, no, I don't do that. I'm just looking for the information I need and then I can contact the people I want to contact with. So if you're not posting on LinkedIn, you're missing massive opportunity. If you're not engaging on LinkedIn, you're missing massive opportunity. People are consuming content. And so the big question is always, what do I post? How do I post? What do I do about it? And there's different types of content you can share. You can obviously share the feed post. If you've got a good post that someone's posted, you can share that. Your network will see that. And I will backtrack a little bit. For those of you that are new on LinkedIn, you need to be building your connections. I think I sort of alluded to that with your network. And a long time ago, and I still hear it, people saying, I only connect with people I know. And that was one of LinkedIn's rules years ago. And it sort of still is. They're still looking to restrict spammy mass connection invites. But my network equals my net worth. It's not just about who am I connected with, but I then have access to finding your connections or messaging and your connections seeing what I'm doing. Those are the second tier connections that showed up in that search. So as part of your ongoing life strategy, you need to be building your connections because you share someone else's post, your network and wider network will see it. I say your post needs to be text with or without an image. I would always use an image because you get a higher engagement rate. LinkedIn posts are short and fairly sharp. There's 1,300 characters maximum, but LinkedIn are rolling out an expansion to that. And we're hearing it's about 3,000 characters. We've certainly seen it work at 2,000 characters. LinkedIn, I have a love-hate relationship. They'll make a change and they'll roll it out globally, slowly. Now, my fear with it being expanded is that people that are writing poor content will just write more of the poor content in a wider section. These are different to articles, so you've got to make them engaging. I would still stick to about 1,300 because you can get your message and your content across. But I would always use an image. You get a higher rate of views and a higher rate of engagement, so using an image. And then I talk about native video. That's video that you upload into the post. LinkedIn does not like you putting external links, so to YouTube videos or any website, in the body of your post. Their algorithm will suppress that. So if you are going to do that, then talk about it, allude to it in your post, but drop the link into your comments. But the comments stream below. So if you can use native video, that's great. If you're not using video in 2021, then you're missing an absolute opportunity. I've been getting business from videos, and nowadays with smartphones, it's so easy. And if you don't like the idea, find someone that can help you with it, because video sells, because people are engaging more. You can post documents, presentations. An article sits on your profile, so it doesn't get as much traction. But the great thing with articles, you can send them out to other people, and you can use that as the collateral I've talked about in sending with your direct engagement. And of course, you can share other articles. Let me just go back. What did I say about that? This is the right stuff again in that success formula. Commenting is an easy way to engage. It's one thing just putting content out there. And I see so many people that put content out but get nothing back. And it's step one. We want to get people to see our stuff. But then we want people to engage. So an easy way to engage is for you to comment on other people's posts. I've got clients that get business just by intelligently invoking and inspiring, engaging conversation on other people's posts. Because think about it, if you're engaging effectively, people are going to look at your profile. If you've got your profile right that tells them what you do, then they're likely to engage with you. And this commenting is included in LinkedIn's algorithm, which I'm going to touch on a bit more as well. And thank you, by the way, for bearing with me while I'm drinking water, because I'm in 32 degrees in the shade, I think. And I'm only saying that because I'm feeling a little bit dehydrated. What's important is your comments are visible on your profile. So be very careful how you're commenting. And this is a bit of an art that people need to learn. I have a few rules. I will never argue or give opinions. I certainly won't be commenting and publishing stuff around religion or politics or stuff. It wants to be engaging around what's suiting you in your business and industry, because your reputation's there. And it just stuns me the amount of people. I'll never argue with somebody. If someone's making a very opinionated statement, I'm not going to try and argue back. So just argue back. And you've got a whole stream of this. Just let them get on with it, as it were. And it is the best way to be considered a thought leader, is to participate in discussions. You ought to be able to reach a point very quickly where people are coming to you. That guy who said, I've been reading your post for 3 months and now I need some help. I had someone else saying to one of my members, and I'll talk about the post party club that we have, said to them, one of their networks said to them, how are you getting so much engagement on your posts? So just the fact that they're prominent and they're working this, people are noticing. And so they're becoming a thought leader. So participate in discussions. I have a great client who's a master at teaching people to write content, and you can look him up. He's a guy called Peter Wendt, W-H-E-N-T. He's a sort of strategic partner of mine, and he's taught me and he's teaching my clients, and we've got a lot of his content on how to write content that converts, how to write content that gets you inbound engagement. Those are the key words. And it is all about value. I know I've touched on that. You've got to educate your audience as to how you can solve their problems, how you can help them with what's on the front of their mind, how you can help them achieve more, whether that's saving money, saving time, working for a better company. You've got to inspire your audience. So it's all about value. There's a great thing, marketing, an acronym called WIFM, W-I-I-F-M. What's in it for me? You have to put yourself in the reader's shoes and ask yourself, what's in it for me? It's not about you. And this sometimes upsets people because nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. They care about what you can do for them. They care about themselves first. They care about what's in it for me. And so you've got to talk to them about that, not about you. And I see this with a lot of technical companies, people coming out of corporate, where they're talking about, I've got this many years experience, I've got these many qualifications. At the front end of engagement, your audience don't care. Sure, further down the road, when they're looking to deal with you, if that's important, they may be looking at it. So here's a few ways you can write posts. And I've called it, there's 7 types. And you've got to be thinking about writing in a way people can get. So the hero's journey, you're telling a story about somebody, how we had an accountant just in the chat box ask me something. So it could be our client got their P&Ls together and then didn't do this and didn't do this, and or did this and did this. So it fits in with the second one, which is stories and metaphors. With human beings are visual creatures. We relate to stories, metaphors. I remember sat at the floor of my grandfather and him telling me stories, and I still remember it. Why do we tell about the boy who cried wolf? That's a great story and metaphor to get a message across. Or you can write your posts in the way of a conversation. I just saw this on a television advert the other night. So-and-so said this, the other person said that, then he said this, then he said that, and you're getting the message across with that. I didn't know with Topsy and Tim were, apparently there's some children's characters that do things very, very opposite, so you can get the message across. Case studies are great. because they're testimonials, they're case studies that gives people, they can see what they can be getting and achieve. The challenge is a particular style. I just said, I think I might have said, if you're not using video, you're missing an opportunity. A little bit of a challenge. Be careful. I like challenging people. It's been my role as a business coach at some level, but it's not about me. It's actually think of your audience. Because if I was talking to some very steady type of people, maybe nurses, and I was too challenging, it may not work. And the building story is just building on where they start and how they get to solving their problem. So it's thinking about those 7 styles of how you can write. Now, choose the 2 or 3 that suits your style and your process. And have a look at where other people are writing great content. You'll know good content and bad content. And then I've got, so that's writing the content. And then for me, there's the mechanics of posting. I've mentioned external URL links. LinkedIn algorithm doesn't like that. They'll suppress your post. I remember years ago, it's now a friend and client of mine as a web designer said, you can write the most beautiful advert, but if you shove it in your shed, nobody will see it. In the same way, you can write the most impressive website, but if you're not using SEO to get it out there, no one will see it. And it's the same way here. If you're not utilizing the algorithm and the way LinkedIn works, you can write the best post out there, but people won't see it. So avoid using external URL links in the body of your post. Hashtags is that symbol down there. That's assigned to LinkedIn to push it out to people who have followed that hashtag. So think about the industry type. Think about the people that might be using those hashtags. You can search on LinkedIn for hashtags. And for those of you that are new, if I'm covering stuff, you're going, what the heck? Google it. And that's not an elegant thing. The answers are there, and it's usually within LinkedIn's help center. What sort of, how do I access hashtags? But only use them sparingly. I might use 3 in a post. Don't do what I saw again this week. Someone just listed a whole load of hashtags. And that's not engaging with me. That's just trying to, I don't know, mass market or manipulate. And it doesn't work. In the same way years ago, people tried to use lots of keywords listed on websites. In the same way, tagging, you can tag a person. So I could go at Andy Clebury. Now, if he's got a big network, LinkedIn will notify him that I've mentioned him. And again, make it relevant, include it in the grammar, and compliment them. Don't just list a whole load of people, because then he might comment or he might share it. So it's a way of getting your posts out to a much wider audience. And daft as this sounds, somebody did a study, and I think they saw they got 31% more engagement, that's likes and comments on their post, when they used an emoji. I'm 53, but do you know what? If people are going to look at my content because it's got an emoji, I'll use a blinking emoji. It is what it is. But there's ways here, the mechanics of getting more people to see your content. And then I've mentioned the algorithm, and it's like SEO, and this is a bit controversial to some people, but I urge people to keep an open mind, and some of you will be able to do this yourselves. If you just post now, LinkedIn is on a mission. They're restricting the number of connection invites you can make. They've always said you should be connecting with people you know. They've always not liked automation or you having a VA in the Philippines to do your activity, or even your marketing manager, because they want to avoid upsetting their user base. And that's where we've now got this overwhelm of bombardment, and they're doing stuff. They want you to be producing good content. What's good content? How can LinkedIn work that out? Well, what they will do is they will push your post out to about 10% of your connections. So if you don't have many connections, that's another reason to be consistently building connections that I talked about earlier. But then if your post gets 15 likes and comments that you then comment back on within 2 hours of posting, and it's that 2-hour window that's the most critical. And I'd got a YouTube specialist helping me with my YouTube strategy last year, and he said the same. If you can drive people to your YouTube video within 2 hours of publishing it, you'll get more exposure from YouTube's algorithm. The algorithm then says, well, this must be good content, because Andy or whoever is getting a lot of engagement from his network that he's engaging back on very quickly. Will now boost this to the rest of his network and the wider network of those that have been engaging. I'll get on my soapbox a little bit and say there's so many people posting that are not tapping into this or understanding this, and they're just not. We said earlier, they're getting less than 10 engagements. They're getting no exposure. Have a look. I can see how many likes and comments you get on a post. It'll show you how many views you're getting at your end. And what it led us to do, I'm going to touch on this very quickly because I'm conscious that the LEP is all about giving content. And if this makes sense, some people will be able to do this themselves. We've worked with corporates that have said, yeah, we've got 15 team. You as SMEs could hook up with your best customers, clients, with your suppliers, with your strategic partners, and you could work this. We developed, it was coming before lockdown, we did a lot of research, but we've created a post-party club. And just in essence, what it means is it allows our members to be able to raise their profile and credibility in this crowded market, generate thousands of views of your posts, because you instantly get thousands of views of your posts. And it allows you to educate your audience on a much wider level and get your name out there and get exposure and do the things we've said about building credibility. And ultimately, for me and most of us, it's about what's the bottom line. It's generating more leads and more business. And just very quickly, this guy, Sammy, got 860 views in just 1 week. And Julie F had never posted before, and in 24 hours got 2,000 views of her post. It is instant. I'm all about, there's so much potential here. I had a competitor of mine ring me, we spoke yesterday, and it was so refreshing because he said we were doing similar things, but there were some things we could come together on. And he said, there's just so much scarcity out there. And he said, I'm not worried about it because LinkedIn is so global and huge. If I can give you things that can help you, at some point what will go around, come around, because there's so much potential and so many people out there. I want people to learn how to easily write powerful posts that work, because we said earlier, most people are posting, and it's not just your posting, it's your emails, it's your standing up at networking events. It's the same thing. It's about positioning yourself. And I want people to be able to get consistent engagement, growing your connections, generating new business. And this lady, I don't know whether some of you have seen, drop it in the text box. It'll be interesting to know, because this was fairly new with LinkedIn. They were sending out, what do you call them, rosette banners, saying, congratulations, your post is in the top 1% engagement on LinkedIn. See the reactions. And I think that's 1% engagement in that sort of industry or niche. And this lady, Teresa, said, for your information, I've had 3 of these in the first 6 weeks of joining Post Party Club. And this week received a 4th. She's now on to about 7. And I've only met 2 other people outside of our Post Party Club that have been sort of getting this level of exposure and recognition from LinkedIn, which again does your credibility more. So that's relatively new with LinkedIn. I've said LinkedIn has started to restrict enough to look at how you can work with that best. We built the Post Party Club. We've spent 6 figures on developing the tech to be able to facilitate this, which allows people to participate in up to 7 parties per week. It's the coming together of multiple clubs globally. Now, I know there'll be people who only want to sell regionally and very locally. That's okay. Remember, by other people engaging, it gets it pushed out to the rest of your network. It is no longer the 6 degrees of separation. If you've heard of that principle that said we know more than 6 people from anybody in the world, actually, if you Google that, it says something like it's nearer 3. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you see my trading name is 3 Degrees Social, 3 degrees of separation from people in the world through social media. And it's all about sharing results and best practice, because we said only 1% of people are posting. And we said only 20% of premium users are posting twice a week and getting virtually no engagement. There's an opportunity here for you to stand out and get to the people you want in a way others are not doing. And so for me, it's all about increasing your exposure, lead generation, sales, recruitment through everything LinkedIn. That's me. This was just a screenshot of a post I did. You can see at the bottom there. I so wanted it to get to 4,800 views. Actually, I wanted 5,000. But that's how instant it can be. That was over a period of a few days. I've set up membership to include membership to a private Facebook group. And I've said I've got YouTube videos. I've got all sorts of content on how to write content, how to create your profile, how to use LinkedIn in other ways, how to develop your posts. It is about coaching and masterminding. I have a free Facebook group that I'm going to point you to. I'm very conscious. This isn't about selling this. I just wanted you to be aware of this opportunity, because what we've built is unique with the Post Party Club portal. There is nothing else like it in the world. I've got videos and templates on how to create a profile. The magic messages I alluded to, some of those things are on my profile that you can download. I've said in the link I'll give you that ebook that I wrote at the beginning of lockdown and put on Amazon. I'll give you access to the 7 most successful points. I've got ebooks on referrals and forming strategic partners. We give all that to our members, videos on how to network. LinkedIn is making more changes this last 2 quarters than it's done for a long while. It is frustrating in a way, because most of them are not serving us at an increased level, I don't think, but you need to be aware of them, and lots of business development and new stuff every week in our post-party club. And also we run twice monthly Zoom calls, masterminding calls. Had one yesterday all around LinkedIn, content marketing, business development, the updates I mentioned, critiques of your content, sharing posts that work. I've just had a lady message me saying, I've just had 10,000 views on my post. I said, I need to look at that. I want to understand what you did and how not just I can do that, but the rest of our membership can. And I talked about developing marketing assets. That's your videos, that's your ebooks, that's your PDFs and white papers. And now I'm wondering why, there you go, it's not working. I charge £97 a month membership. There is no contract. You've got up to 28 posts a month. And if it's of interest, you can go look at postpartyclub.com. There is a heads up video of me there talking about it. There's a wonderful video of Peter, who teaches people how to write content, screen sharing, showing the results he's got within a post party and the results outside. But make a note of this other link here, the HTTPS ://Linktree. It's nothing to do with LinkedIn. You'll see it. It's a link. When you click through, I've listed a bunch of other links. In there is a free Facebook group called LinkedIn Mastery. Free, I think, or LinkedIn Mastery. Go join that, and I'll let you in that. We've got some of the resources our Post Party Club members have, and obviously, and that's a big membership. That's a big Facebook group. Obviously, I've set that up so that people can then understand what Post Party Club does for them. But within that Linktree link, there's also that link to the ebook on writing content. It does ask for your email address, but you can then download that. Obviously, you're in our database, but you can unsub if you need to. I want to make this simple for everybody. And there is also my diary linked in there. So if this is resonating, some of you go, well, I need to understand more. I'm happy to speak with anybody from the LEP here that's on this call because of what Andy and the team are doing. I think it's so important, and the value they're giving. Book a time with me. Just make sure you've got something specific you want to talk about and you are sort of serious about where it can be. I'm not saying we've got to do business from that call, but I've got a finite number of hours to be able to speak with people. But I'm happy to, if you've got a particular need on LinkedIn, we can have a call there and check those out. I'm very, very conscious of time. I'm going to stop my sharing and I'm going to hand over to Andy. I can see that there's some questions coming in. Do you want me to scroll through them, Andy, or do you want to scroll through and
no, that's okay.
Happening?
Yeah, I should be able to pick those up for you because we've got a few questions here so far. There's a question from Debbie Rees. She said, a question from me would be, if you have a company page on LinkedIn and a personal profile, how do you increase traffic to your company page? Is it okay to share your personal profile?
Gotcha.
Sorry, is it okay to share on your personal profile your company page posts?
Okay, I got you. And I was going to mention company pages. And again, I'm happy to stay behind for these quick Q&As, but I also am conscious that some of you will have your busy diary and gone, I've booked this hour out. So yeah, let me cover that very quickly. Here's my take on company pages. Before we discovered the algorithm to get your posts massive exposure, and first of all, that algorithm is only sound on posts on your personal profile. It doesn't work on your company page. So you could argue that there's no point posting on your company page. But before we developed and understood this, I would have said to you about a company page, if you're a larger company, your prospects might expect you to have one. But if your profile is written in the right way, then they're going to find that by searching the company page, they'll find your profile. And what I would say to employers is, if you've got your salespeople building connections and then they leave you, and I had this happen to a client recently, he's doing 2 million turnover. I was delivering on his activity with my automation. And then he hooked me up to deliver through one of his sales guys' profile as well. And the guy left and took his thousands of connections with him. So what I would say to an employer is, as part of your company strategy, get consistently your teams to be engaging with their contacts, inspiring them to follow your company page so that you protect yourself. If they leave, you've still got the followers on your company page you can communicate with. But then you've got to be posting content, but then you're relying on how many actually see it and is it worth it? I have a company page. And the one reason for somebody to definitely have a company page is if you are running events like this, and I run a bunch of free webinars, the event function on LinkedIn is gold mine. And if any of you are doing that, just reach out to me. I'll send you a free video explaining what you can do for free. And that strategy is only relevant, or is best relevant on a company page, not a personal profile. So the opposite to post-party club algorithm. So if you're a small SME, I would say create a company page and link it to your profile. But I would focus your activity and your strategy on your own profile. You could almost, if you look at my company page, other than my events, there's very little on there. And that's what I would say. The challenge businesses have is they have a company page, they have their marketing department going, post on your company page now, try and get your team to like and comment on it. And it's like herding sheep, but it's irrelevant anyway, because you're not ticking that algorithm. You want to be posting on your own personal profile. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. So then we've got a comment from Lisa Jobbins from the Greater Birmingham Chamber of Commerce. She said, why do I get more views, reactions when I post something vaguely personal? In brackets, I tend to avoid this on the whole. I appreciate profiles are individuals, but I consider it a professional tool, and most of my posts are designed to deliver useful business information. Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it, Lisa? Because human beings engage with personal stuff. I've worked with clients where when they've shared a personal win, they get a lot of exposure. Now, what's your strategy for posting? And you're with the Chamber of Commerce, so I guess you're looking to engage with certain people. If that's my strategy is to engage with prospects, I'm not going to be posting personal wins every time because it doesn't serve me. By all means, populate it. The key thing is if you're right, it's a professional tool. And yeah, I struggle with people just posting. That's the Facebook syndrome people hate. I work with a lot of property investors and they just post photos of their deal. And that's okay. Again, I said case studies work, but you've got to have variety. I would say, yeah, posting about business. Key thing is, what's your call to action? What's it leading to? I meet some people, we've got people in Post Party Club who are getting thousands of views. Their content's pretty good, but it's just informational. And there's no reason for somebody to reply to you. So that part of what we teach is there needs to be some sort of call to action, even if it's go have a look at this or message me if you're interested in X, Y, Z. The reality is human psychology is, yeah, people do. But Lisa, unless you're tapping that algorithm, you're probably still not getting thousands of views anyway. And I'd love to work with talk to the chamber about how they could sort of leverage from that. But that's the reason. It's a bit like that emoji thing, sort of bonkers, isn't it?
Thanks,
Can
Andy.
I read through these, Andy? Because I can see them here.
Yeah. Are you happy to read those comments, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy, I used to share when I got the rosettes. You got the rosettes, however, not for a while. Hey, I guess it comes down to what are you looking to achieve? That's got to be the starting point. There is a time commitment with posting. My automation for a direct engagement, my clients have a financial investment and I'm delivering on that. But posts, you've got to write the content. You've got to engage in the post party. You used to share when I got the rosettes, however, I'd keep sharing. It's about the other thing as well. I'm passionate about. I've had people join my post party club who went, "This is sort of do or die. I'm looking for business." That's wrong. You're marketing. Remember that formula: massive action, right stuff consistently. You've got to be. It's part of your marketing mix is to be engaging, posting, sharing, commenting. Keep sharing is what I would say. Lee, I need to drop off. Okay, I guess he's gone. That's a very decent price. I made it that way. You're offering. I've connected with you on LinkedIn. Let's talk later. Name as Lee Stevens. Thank you. And I did that because I've been coaching business owners for 18 years. I have one or two private clients. And I guess the best analogy was I had a lady who said, look, I know what you charge your private business owner coaching clients. And what you're giving me is access to your content, the Facebook group, the fortnightly strategy calls. Yeah, they can pick up the phone to me because you know the reality, the 80-20 rule says only 20% people do reach out. She said, I'm getting all that for 97 quid a month rather than 20 grand a year. Yes, because we've got volume. We've got hundreds of members around the world. So I'm glad you recognize that. Thank you. What other questions do we have, guys? I'm conscious, I keep saying of your time, but I'm happy to answer any question you've got about LinkedIn. Anything about marketing, anything about posts. I know we said we had one or two people that were new on LinkedIn. yeah, guess what questions? I should drop that link tree link in the chat box, shouldn't I? Come on, guys, and here's where I get my coaching hat on, I guess. Andy and the team, I know how much work they've done to pull all this together. So make the best use of it. Hit me with anything you want, really. I'm happy to answer. There's my link tree link. Go and have a look at that. Lee, if I ask colleagues, trustees, and ambassadors of our charity to share, repost a post of mine, does the algorithm on LinkedIn suppress this to stop it flooding the feed? If so, how is it best to overcome this? No, you've almost got your own post party there, Lee, but I don't know what the numbers you have. And it's not absolute. When I said 15 likes and comments that you then comment back on, that's the 3 things. Because I've had great results at 14 participants, better than 16 and around. But the critical thing is that 2-hour window. So even if you've got a few of them, yeah, if you ask your colleagues, trustees, to share or repost, does it flood the feed? No. What you're best off doing them is asking them to comment on your post. So send them the link to your post and say, will you engage with this? Will you comment on it? And yeah, if they share as well, great. But the algorithm is more about liking and commenting. Ask them to like and comment. And if you can herd cats and get them to do it in that 2-hour window, notice the difference you make. If it's way less than 15 people engaging, then it won't tick the algorithm. But I'll bet you get a better result than you're currently getting. So ask them, here's the link. Would you like and comment on it? And then you need to re-comment on their comments. If they share as well, that can't harm. But the algorithm is around liking and commenting. Definitely. And remember, it shows up on your feed and their feed as well. Hope that answers. Caris, how can we best encourage staff to engage with social media to help build our employer brand? Oh, wow, what a massive question. Because that's your corporate or your business strategy, isn't it? I'm happy to talk to you in more depth, Caris. I think simply put, if you're starting from sort of scratch with trying to get the team to engage, I'd want to define a simple strategy that can sort of work. The challenge I always got from marketing managers was we're posting content on the company page and we want our teams to share it, and they're not. Well, you now understand that actually, even if they did, it's not going to serve them best, because it isn't about your company page, about your personal profile. And actually, we've got trying to get your team to like and comment and engage is like herding cats, especially if you've got salespeople, because they're busy trying to sell. So it depends on when you talk social media, what sort of social media. I talked about how much there is. I would look to define your social media plan strategy simply. Start with something. If it's LinkedIn, let's start with how that best works. I have to be mindful of your employees. Are they busy? Where are they at? Like I say, it's typical that salespeople just don't have the time to like and comment and sit on it. They want to be driving around or on the phone and doing stuff. And it depends on their profile type, doesn't it? Their behavioral type. So I hope that helps. By all means, reach out if you want to chat through in more detail, because it's quite a big topic there. Kate, can you explain more about the company pages? We have 3 for different brands. How can we increase engagement if it doesn't follow the same algorithm? Okay, I would suggest your business development people, if that's you and whoever, this is sort of asking a question. I'm presuming, or you should have, on your personal profile, where you've got your about section, which is a bit like your landing page. Underneath that, you've got your experience sections. And this is a bit of a hack in that think creatively. If you look at my profile, you could split those 3 different brands through 3 different experience sections, because you could say MD of brand 1, MD of brand 2, MD of brand 3. And you can write about those brands in your experience section. So treat them like 3 different companies. And then I'd be posting. And the great thing with Post Party Club, I've got clients just like you, members just like you, where one day they're posted about brand A, next day brand B, brand C, and they're bringing their team into it. That's how I'd be using that. And of course, make sure your company pages are fleshed out so it says what the brands do. But the reality of company pages, as I've said, you've got to drive followers to it. And it's a long, ongoing activity to get. You want thousands of followers. And then you've got to be posting, and then you're hoping they see it in their feeds. Whereas with posting on your personal profile, hitting that algorithm, it gets out there. So look at yours and your salespeople's or your business development people's or your colleagues' profiles. Make sure your experience section is split to tell those brands. It's not what the experience section was set up for. It was to list your jobs, but it's about the outcome. So if you look at mine, you'll see I've got a section on Post Party Club. I've got a section on Done For You. I've got a section on training. I've got a section as a business coach. I have a shareholding in an audio-visual business. I have a section there. So make it easy for your visitors to see what you do. So I'd be utilizing it on yours and your colleagues' personal profile, and then building it from there. So I hope that helps. Anybody else? Some great questions. There is so much opportunity with LinkedIn, and it is just about looking at how can I use it from a marketing and sales perspective. Anybody else? Anybody else? And what do you want to get more views? I'm going to post on, but vaguely personal. Yeah, we've covered that. And we've covered that. I think we've covered them. I'm here, Andy. If anyone else wants to ask anything else, if they want to ask you about your stuff, is there anything else you want to say? It's your gig. I don't want to take it over. I do. No. If chuck some questions in there, but if you haven't got any more, then hey, I've done a pretty good job. Connect with me on LinkedIn. You will immediately grow your second tier connections by 20,000, because I have 20,000 first tier connections. Andy here, the other Andy, has permission to shoot you if you don't connect with me and him and his team, because you will grow your second tier network greatly. And then anything you want to ignore the automated messages you get from me, although there will be some ebooks in there and some PDFs in there, but anything you want to ask, just message me and I will reply.
Sorry, Andy, we've actually got some more questions in the Q&A section of this the Zoom platform. So I don't know if you can open it, but we've got one from Jacques here.
All right, Jack. Hey, Jack. I've been applying to various jobs recently, but I have no sort of engagement from any job listings. According to LinkedIn, some of these positions I was rated % of excellent with employees. Anyway, to get the employer to engage me. Great question. And I've actually spoken about recruitment. Okay, if you think what I've said about your profile, writing your profile to split your products and sell your products, you want to write your profile so that it tells your potential employer what you can bring to their table. Don't use fluff like I'm passionate and go the extra mile and have a track record of X. So really write it from that. Now, one of the things I would say to people, I haven't looked at the jobs for a long time, but if you go into the jobs, it will tell you who the poster is. So rather than just apply through the job there, I might go and connect with that HR director or whoever and message them and engage with them. Worst that can happen is they say, go apply through the post or through the website. But then I've at least engaged with them. They've seen my photo, they've seen my profile. So then are they likely to invite me for an interview? And it is about messaging them with what you can do for them. Not what I've done, what I can bring to your table. I can deliver your projects on time or to budget, or work under pressure to create your designs within the week. It's about engaging in the right way, in the same way as I've talked about with sales, but for an employer. So don't just apply. I wouldn't apply on the LinkedIn job post straight away, but also go search, view their company, click through to the company. What if there's someone you're connected with or slightly connected with? What if you found the HR director instead of the HR manager? What if you found the job poster and I go, hey, I'm just connecting because I've seen your job. I would love to understand a bit more before applying, or I'm wondering if I could talk about some questions. Why not get a heads up video of you talking about what value you bring to an employer, putting that on your profile, because then when you connect with that job poster, you could send them a message and say, thanks for connecting, just wanted to send you this as to why I'm such a good egg and you should employ me. So there's some creative ways to go you got to go the extra mile.
Some duplication here, so I could probably help you figure out. So yeah, Karis, and I think there's a question from
they do.
Yeah.
I think there was something that once talked about if I can. It used to be in websites. If I can put the BBC link in my website, I'll get not with LinkedIn. No, it's an external link. Lisa, why do I get more views reactions when I post something vaguely personal? We've covered that.
We've already done, Jaspreet, when you mention a post on your profile, is this the same as share and add a comment?
Right, Jaspreet, you're creating and publishing a post that shows up in people's feeds then. Then what you want to do is like and comment on other people's posts. You want people to like and comment on your post. The share doesn't really work to get exposure, but there's nothing wrong with sharing it. If you're going to share it, write something as to why you're sharing it. But for now, I'd forget sharing, and you want to. So when I mention a post on your profile, yeah, you publish the post, and then what you're looking for is people to like and comment on that post. There's a comment box. If you have a skirt around, you should find that. We've covered that one. And anonymous attendee, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm completely new to LinkedIn and challenging myself by starting a new business. Congratulations in a new field, as it's been informative and eye-opener as I've struggled with getting things moving on the site. Great. I don't think there's much wrong you can do with LinkedIn. Worst you can do is send something that people aren't interested in and they just won't read it. But it's go connect with people and engage with people. Start with your closest network, your professional contacts, maybe some of your friends who are professionals, certainly your clients, your customers, your prospects, your suppliers. Just think of it as a networking tool, like you might be stood at one of the LEPS events when you're going to introduce yourself to someone and talk to someone. So thank you for that. Anything else, Andy?
That's everyone now, unless anyone has any other questions. I think that seems to be all of them dealt with so far. But yeah, thank you so much. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed the session today and got something out of it that's useful. We'll be sharing the slides with you, so you'll have the contact details for that and the Growth Hub shared with you along with those slides. If you're interested in exploring other events that we've got scheduled for this month, I'm just popping the link into the chat so you can have a look at those. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. Cool.